So this is the Tata Altroz. This is the production version of the Tata Altroz, which we'll be seeing on Indian roads in July this year. But we are seeing it for the first time in the metal at the Geneva show. Now clearly you can see this is a very attractive looking car. The headlights in particular, they really catch your eye. They sweep back almost all the way back to the A-pillar. The grille, a very Tata grille, it's really keeping the design language common with a lot of the Tata cars. But I think there's some very interesting elements as well. You've got the bonnet, which is slightly raised. This is to meet the new pedestrian protection standards, which come into effect in April 1st, 2020. The side profile, well, again, some interesting design elements here. You see the way the window line kinks down and then slowly rises all the way to the top. So all the way up over here. Smallish window, quite frankly, that does have an impact on the airiness of the cabin inside. But overall, if you look at it, it's a very well proportioned car. And a problem with Tata cars earlier was this over here. You always felt there was a lot of air between the tire and the fender. They've kind of sorted that out this time. Nice muscular looking flared out wheel arches. Let's have a look at the back. The back over here is well, it's a 340 litre boot, as you can see, and the rear also very striking. These tail lights over here, the relief it has from the body, kind of a bit of a floating effect, looks very attractive, very distinctive, and I think in the night this is really going to stand out. Let's jump into the interior and have a look. Well, over here you've got the door handle, which is up in the C-pillar. Let's have a look at what it's like on the inside. Well, the space inside, fairly generous. Don't forget, this is a car with a longer wheelbase than the Tiago. This car's actually got 2501, that is the wheelbase, so that's pretty generous. Legroom, well, it's not class best. I think it's other premium hatches have a little bit more of legroom, but this is good enough. I think a bigger issue is that the roof, it kind of slopes down quite a bit, and taller people may have a bit of an issue. But seats are very comfortable. Still, the H point is nice and high. A flat floor over here. Rear aircon vents. You've got a 12-volt socket over here. No USB, but yeah, otherwise fairly pretty standard for the class. And plastics over here, not too bad. Lower down, not as good, but let's not forget this is a show car, so we'll have to see what the production version is like. Let's have a look at what the front is like now. So the interior is also completely new, but there are a lot of Tata design cues, like the floating screen over here. Buttons, again, very Tata-like, bit small. I'd like chunkier buttons. Steering wheel feels nice and sporty. You've got the instrumentation now similar in concept to the Harrier, which is an analog speedometer and a digital tachometer and other stuff. The practicality is pretty good. Door bins are quite generous. You've got one nice bin over here, the cup holders, a little bit of a storage box, which is quite small, single USB. And yeah, as I overall said, it's a good driving position. I like the chunky steering wheel. It really feels nice and sporty, but the question is the car sporty? Now, looking at the engine options, you've got a 1.2 petrol in turbocharged and naturally aspirated version, so that's two engines with petrol, and you've got a diesel, the 1.5 diesel, which you get in the Nexon. It's been slightly downrated for this car, and it's actually to do with the gearbox. This gearbox has a torque limitation, so you can expect slightly lower power in the Altroz compared to the Nexon, which and the 1.2 turbo over there and the 1.5 diesel. So slightly lower spec, but the car is very light. This car weighs 965 kilos or thereabouts. So in terms of power to weight ratio, it should be good.